Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
What is up, everybody? It is Chris from the Commander Crew coming at you with another Commander Quick Take. Here we take commanders from the past, present, and upcoming sets and do a little quick take on how I personally would build a deck. On this week's episode, we have Orcus, Prince of Undeath from the new Forgotten Realms set. Orcus, Prince of Undeath is an X2 black-red demon for 5/3 with flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. Each other creature gets -X/-X and you lose X life. Or return up to X target creature cards with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and they gain haste until end of turn. This is a serious Aristocrats, Recursion, Epic, bring everything back from the death deck. He is definitely the Prince of the Undeath. I can only imagine who the King's going to be. Thing you want to focus on primarily is the second ability. Yes, that first ability is pretty epic to basically have a Wrath to get rid of all your opponent's creatures, but the second ability is what really does this justice. You return up to X target creature cards with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now that X value is going to be the biggest contender in this, because it's X target creatures and their mana value has to equal X or less. So in this case, you want to have as many creatures as possible with a very, very low mana value. That way you can get the most bang for the buck. Similar decks that are very consistent, similar to this, would be Garna the Bloodflame, Judith the Scourge Diva, and Nethroi Apex of Death. These decks can give you an overall basic of how you want to build the deck out. That's how I saw it, first off. Garna has a lot of recursion. Judith has basically a lot of Aristocrats builds into it. And Nethroi is a very similar ability to our commander altogether. So if you want to have some ideas of how to build this deck out, I would definitely check out these three commanders to give a basic idea. Now let's go over the cards that I would put into the deck and how I'd build it out. First thing is the recursive targets. Like what I'd want to actually put on the battlefield from the graveyard. Archfiend's Vessel for a single black with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, if it entered from the graveyard, you can exile it and create a 5/5 black demon. Blood Pet for a single black, sacrifice it to add black to your mana pool. Dragon Master Outcast for a single red. At the beginning of your upkeep, you control 6 or more lands. You create a 5/5 red dragon creature with flying. Grim Initiate for a single red, zombie warrior first strike, but when it dies, you amass 1. Impulsive Pilferer for a single red. When it dies, you create a treasure token, and it has Encore for 3 and a red. Maggot Carrier for a single black. When it comes into play, each player loses 1 life. Mere Moon Vessel for a single generic. When it dies or is put into the graveyard, you put 1 generic to your mana pool. Nested Shambler for a single black. When it dies, create X tapped 1/1 green squirrel tokens where X is the Nested Shambler's power. Serrated Scorpion for a single black. When it dies, it deals damage of 2 to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Shambling Gas for a single black. When it dies, choose 1. Brave the Stench. Target creature opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Or Search the Body, where you create a treasure token. And Skirk Prospector for a single red. Sacrifice a goblin to add red to the mana pool. Overall, these cards have a lot of value because when they can die and come back multiple times, they're going to put a lot of work into the battlefield. And basically drain our opponents and give us value as they die. Next, when things die, we want to make sure we have the proper value. Astronaut's Altar for 3 generic. Sacrifice a creature to add 2 colors to your mana pool. Black Market, 3 black. When a creature dies, you put a charge counter on Black Market. And at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add a black for each charge counter on Black Market. This can put in some serious value, especially with our commander having an X into it. Blight Mound, 2 and a black. Attacking pests you control get +1/+0 and have menace. But whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you create a 1/1 black and green pest. When a creature dies, gain life. This is basically a 2-for-1 for our actual creatures when they're dying and coming back. Midnight Reaver, 2 and a black for a Zombie Knight 3/2. When another non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you, but you also get to draw a card. Pawn of Ulamog, 1 black, black for a 2/2 Vampire Shaman. When it or another non-token you control dies and is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi Spawn creature token, which has sacrifice it to add a 1 generic to the mana pool. And then Phyrexian Altar, 3 generic, sacrifice a creature to add 1 mana of any color to the mana pool. These cards definitely work in tandem with each other to give us some serious overall value when our creatures die. Now we want to make sure when they all come back, there's even more value. Panharmonicon is one of the best cards of all time when things are entering the battlefield. For 4 generic, it's going to double each creature's ETB effect over and over again. So when each creature enters, these other abilities are going to be even more valued. Impact Charm is 1 and a red. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And Peripheral's God of the Forge, 3 and a red for a 6/5 Gaia, indestructible. Its devotion is less than 5, and it's not a creature. But when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. It does also have the ability to 2 and a red, creatures you control get +1/+0. It definitely can help out in the long run, if you have boards starting to spam out. With these cards together, you can definitely basically kill the opponents just by creatures entering the battlefield on their own. What if just the ETB isn't enough? We want to have some things with leave the battlefield triggers too. Bastion of Remembrance, 2 and a black, it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human token, but whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain a life. Goblin Bombardment, 1 and a red, sacrifice a creature, it deals 1 damage to any target. Jury Master of the Review, black and a red for a 1/1 human shaman. When another permanent is sacrificed, you put a 1/1 counter on Jury. And when Jury dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. And then Mayhem Devil, 1 black red for a 3/3 devil. When a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target. With these cards, we're going to be basically making a aristocrat style build on this, because everything's going to keep coming back and dying over and over and over again. We want to be able to have that extra way of just killing our opponents as soon as possible. And that is my Commander quick take on Orcus, Prince of the Undeath. X2 black red, X being as much as you want it to be. This ability is insane, and I'm sure there's an amazing amount of combos out there that you can work with this. Rakdos already has so many aristocrats recursion decks built to begin with, so the stables are already there. Now, how would you build this deck? What other cards would you put into it? Obviously, this is a quick take, but there are so many options out there. Reanimation brought to a whole new level. I'm definitely loving this card. Again, my name is Chris in the Commander Crew. I appreciate you watching. Remember, hit that bell notification, like, and subscribe, because it definitely helps out a lot. Have a good one. Peace.